Hey folks, welcome. This is 108 Stitches, which is a mostly knitting video podcast. My name is Emily and I am here with my pup Norman today. I don't know if you guys can see him super well. Oh, I touched him and that means that he has to leave. But I am so happy to be chatting with you today. I am in truly a phenomenal mood. Today has been such a great day. The knitting I'm working on has been just amazing. I have some really fun stuff to share with you all today. It's gonna be a good one. I'm feeling really good. We have a giveaway winner. It's all together just like really very fun and positive things. Positive vibes today on the episode. So welcome. Today is Tuesday. That's been my usual recording schedule, has been Tuesdays. So it is early June. What day exactly is it? June 7th. Today is Tuesday, June 7th. And I, as always, am coming to you from Seattle, Washington, where I live with my husband, Ovis, and our pup, Norman, who is chewing his bone and was doing that up here with me and is no longer up here with me. He went down to the floor. It is a beautiful day in Seattle today. So much so that, those of you who have been following the podcast for a long time may remember around this time last year, I recorded and posted a video. I was sitting outside and the audio quality was horrible. It was just such a horrible idea, but the weather was so good that I couldn't I had to be outside. And if I was going to record a podcast that day, it was going to be outside because there's no way that I was going inside. And I just want you all to know that I spared you that this time. I care about you. And I did not want to put you all through that again. So I am indoors. It actually was nicer a couple hours ago. There is some cloud cover, but it's still nice and warm. And I do have some knitwear that I wish I could be wearing right now, but it's just too warm. So I decided to go with a much lighter, more breathable outfit today. First day I'm actually wearing shorts for real today as well. This is the first real day over 70, and I could not be more excited. I have to take a trip to the store after this, pick up some gardening things, and yeah, I just am. I feel like I had a point when I started to say I was going to go there, but I lost that. So anyway, let's start talking about the knitting stuff because. First off, I have a giveaway winner that I want to share. So we don't need to spend a ton of time on this, but in case you missed it, 2 videos back. So my last post was a normal podcast episode, but the one before that was my 2,000 subscriber giveaway and Q&A session. And a ton of you included comments there to enter the giveaway. The prompt was to say your favorite thing about yourself. And can I just say I loved reading them all. I went through, I read all the comments, and they were just so delightful, just hearing you all, especially on the one hand, this was a positive and it was also sad a little bit as well, just how uncomfortable so many of us are saying nice things about ourselves. And I feel that, I felt the exact same way when I was asked that question. It was a tough question to answer, and I feel like we don't often stop and think about, okay, what do we like about ourselves? So it was so much fun to read through all of those, and I really enjoyed it. But I did randomly select a comment and a person to win the giveaway, and that person is Angela Heine. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Heine. I will put it on the screen here. So congratulations, Angela. And just a reminder, I will be sending you this beautiful yarn, 1 skein of Berry Surrey in the Caterpillar in the Garden colorway from Woolberry, and 1 skein of Stress Knit's favorite in the Old Pine colorway, as well as my favorite triangle stitch markers. So thank you so much to everyone for entering the giveaway. Thank you so much to everyone for subscribing and for watching these videos. That was kind of the reason for the giveaway in the first place. I just really, oh, Norm's back. I really appreciate everyone for being here. It just brings me so much joy to be sitting down and knowing that I'm like sitting down and chatting with all of you while you all are knitting or just, you know, hanging out, drinking your tea or whatever. Speaking of, I need to take a drink. Whew. It is not tea. I do not drink tea in super large bottles like this. It's just water. Okay. So congratulations again to Angela. If you see this, please just message me on Instagram, and we'll get your address and everything so that I can send you the yarn. And if not, I will try to maybe like reply to your comment or try to find you on Instagram, or we'll figure it out. So try to contact me so that I can get your address and I can send you the yarn. So congrats again, and thank you so much to everyone for entering and for commenting and for watching and for subscribing. And I just feel so happy and blessed, and it's a good feeling to just feel that kind of community with all of you here. So thank you so much to everyone. Okay, knitting stuff. Let's get into it. I have a finished object, and I could not be happier about that finished object. It finished drying. I blocked it and everything. It's actually dry. I know those of you who have watched me, I often have wet sweaters for my finished objects, but I finished my Birch. I finished my Birch pullover. It dried earlier today. I was nervous that it wasn't going to dry in time for me to record, and luckily I took it outside, and because it was good weather today, it dried very quickly after I took it outside because it was sunny. Kind of smells like outdoors. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. There's just like a very distinct like outdoors smell. It kind of has that smell. But I finished it. I feel like I've been working on this project forever. I think I cast it on late March, so I have been knitting it for several months. I did kind of pause and work on another sweater, complete a whole other sweater in the middle there, and that is rare for me. Normally I'm pretty like single track focused on the sweaters, but this felt like a monster project, quite a slog. It is sport weight yarn in half fisherman's rib, and it's just miles and miles of it, and it was definitely worth it. Let me just say that. Definitely worth it. It is so beautiful, the finished product. It is so wearable. I feel like I'm going to wear this all the time. The worst part, though, is that it just, like, literally today the weather got good. I feel like I could have worn this any day this year before today, but today is like the first day, and so I don't know, I'm almost hopeful. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm almost hopeful for like 1 or 2 colder days so that I can wear my sweater. But I'm going to take it tomorrow to get some finished object photos. I already have a whole an idea in mind where I want to take them, and I feel like this sweater would just go so well with so many outfits that I want to try it with like multiple outfits and just wear it and style it, and I really love it. So let me stop and give you some information about the sweater. If you haven't been following me along the last several episodes, here's the information. So this is the Birch pullover, which is a sweater pattern by Andrea Mowry. I knit it in slightly different yarn than she did. So the pattern actually calls for fingering weight yarn, and I knit this using a sport weight yarn. The yarn I used is Autumn and Indigo Classic Sport in the Lomah colorway, which, as you can see, is just the most beautiful golden yellow, like so perfect. And because I didn't quite have gauge exactly, because I used a different yarn weight, and also I ended up using a slightly different needle size as well. I knit the smallest size, and I got different measurements than the smallest size because my gauge was off, and I talked about potentially doing an episode at some point with doing like the size adjustment gauge math, and so I'm not going to go through it step by step here, but I'll just say basically my gauge was a little bit off, so I knit a smaller size, and that gave me a sweater that resulted in the amount of ease that I wanted. After blocking always like gives you a little bit, especially like fisherman's rib or like brioche, I feel like it stretches quite a bit. So I did get not more than expected. I think it actually blocked out beautifully. Like I knit it, I think for the length it blocked out beautifully, and the width, it's like maybe a touch big, but I really like it. So okay, not too much too big, just maybe a touch. But I have so much to talk about with this sweater. I have so much to talk about, but so I knit the smallest size using sport weight yarn and size US 2.5 needles, and I think it calls for a US 2, so I use different needles as well. And then this is the finished sweater, so let me kind of scoot back. Sorry, this is maybe a weird angle, but this is it. This is the sweater. I did knit the sleeves and the body a little bit shorter than I wanted to, knowing that this stitch blocks vertically a lot, and I think the length is just perfect. Like the sleeve length and the body length is really good. I could do the body maybe a touch shorter, just because I do feel like the way that it lays, it like balloons here a tiny bit, and I often wear, like these are high-waisted shorts, I often wear high-waisted pants, but I feel like it's okay, especially because I also often do like a little front tuck here, and I feel like that is just really cute. Yeah, it's hard to imagine being happier with the way that this turned out. I guess maybe it could be a tiny bit less eased here and a tiny bit shorter, but otherwise I'm just really happy with it. It feels amazing. The fabric is just incredibly drapey in like a beautiful way, not like too slouchy, but just, I don't know, I love it. I love the color. I love the finished sweater. I want to wear it every day. I want to wear it with everything. I love this sweater. So let me tell you about a couple things that happened while I was knitting it. Roman, do you want to come here? Do you want your blankie? There you go. Okay, so the first thing is that I played seriously intense yarn chicken to the point where I was doing some probably irresponsible things at the end to make sure I had enough yarn. So I thought I was going to be fine. That's the crazy thing. I didn't actually, normally if I thought I was going to be close, I would have weighed my yarn and made sure that like when I would knit one sleeve that I had left, like before I knit either sleeve, I would weigh my yarn and then I would make sure I used only half of it on one sleeve so I could use the other half for the other sleeve and like even give myself a little bit of wiggle room. For some reason, it didn't even occur to me that I was going to be close, so I didn't even weigh it. I didn't measure it at all. And then I got to maybe halfway through my second sleeve and I was like, oh, this might be tight. And I didn't, okay, if you guys watched last time, you remember I said, I have in my mind that you could knit a sleeve in a single day. And while I didn't knit either of these sleeves in a single day, I did knit like 85% of one of them in one day. The second sleeve I knit almost all of on Sunday, 2 days ago. I knit it almost completely on Sunday. I had done like one decrease, so like one pattern kind of repeat before then. But anyway, okay, what was I talking about? Oh, running out of yarn. So I didn't measure, I didn't think that I was gonna run out, and then like maybe halfway through the sleeve I was like, okay, this could be tight. And then I got closer and closer and I was like, okay. By the time I got to doing the cuff, I was like, I'm definitely gonna run out of yarn. So I had a small amount of yarn that I had actually used to do a provisional cast on another project. Never do that. Emily, what are you doing? Why are you using yarn from an active, it's because I had it easy and accessible, like right next to me. But I took yarn from a project I was actively working on to do a provisional cast on another project. Luckily, I had already gotten to the point where I picked up those stitches, so I pulled the provisional cast on out, and I had that amount of yarn, so I used that, and then I still got to the point where I was ready to I got all the way to the end, and I was ready to bind off, and it's a tubular bind off, and I had maybe this much yarn. So if you guys have done a tubular bind off before, you know that they tell you to measure out roughly 3 times the width of your like stitches that you have to bind off, because a tubular bind off takes quite a lot of yarn, and so I had maybe 1 times the amount of stitches that I had. I did not have 3 times, so I was like, okay, I don't want to pull out 1 row, because even if you wouldn't be able to tell, it would bother me if the 2 sleeves were like different lengths. So I actually had a couple of pretty long tails from elsewhere in the project. And what I did was I went and I wove in those ends, and then I had the long like ends of yarn, and I trimmed them, and then I magic knotted them together. And then I did the bind off. I know there are probably some of you who are watching this right now, and you're screaming at your screen, and you're just like, Emily, why would you do that? That's like a bad idea. And like, I know that, I understand that it's probably a bad idea, but I couldn't, I was so close. I was literally like this much yarn away from just like making it and it not being a problem. I was not gonna go back. I just wouldn't. So I did go and put magic knots in and then bind off with that. And it was actually a little bit annoying to do the tubular bind off with the magic knots in it. The magic knots are pretty tight and like pretty small. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll put a description below, or I'll put a link in the description below for these like magic knots. It's basically just like a pretty safe, I don't want to say super safe because it's probably not completely safe, but a pretty safe way to put, to tie your yarn together so that it won't come undone. And so there were like these little bumps, and so then like trying to weave the end in with these bumps was pretty annoying, but definitely worth it. And I can't even see them. I was looking through to see if I could find them like little bumps in my tubular bind off, and I can't. Actually, I guess I don't know which one was my second sleeve. I don't even remember which sleeve I did. I think I did this one second, because I remember when I tried it on, I'm pretty sure I had just, like when I had only 1 sleeve done, I'm pretty sure this sleeve was the one I had. I could also be wearing this sweater backwards, so that would defeat that purpose. But anyway, I can't find the bumps. I don't see them now. I don't see the knots. So hopefully the knots won't pop and like come undone and then unravel my sweater. That would be really bad. My husband, Ovis, was sitting next to me. He was like, can't you just do the bind off with a different yarn? Like, will you even see it? I was like, even if, I mean, you will see it. I have other yarn that's like close in color. Like, I could have probably used this yarn and it would have been okay, but it would have bothered me a lot if I had done that. So I knew that I couldn't. So, I don't know. I guess magic knots is better, in my opinion. But, yeah, so that was one crazy thing, is a very intense game of Yarn Chicken. And then I immediately went to block it. This was Sunday night because I really wanted it to be done in time to wear it and show you guys on the podcast. And it is. It's done. It's blocked. Because I feel like with this fabric as well, like, it looks super different before it's been blocked. Like this, the fisherman's rib, the half fisherman's rib just relaxes so much with blocking. It's like a completely different fabric. So I really wanted it to be done blocking before I showed it to you all. And I can't wait to take pictures. I'm hoping to go take some pictures of it tomorrow. And I'm just so smitten. I'm very happy with it. But the other thing that was really positive about knitting this project, I had an incredibly empowering moment when I was working on this. I was actually, I think it was on my second sleeve, and it was when I don't remember where exactly in the sleeve I was. It was on Sunday when I was working on the sleeve, and I had been knitting on it and knitting away or whatever, and I noticed maybe 2 inches down there was a mistake. And it wasn't a huge mistake. And it was actually one of those mistakes where you look at it and you're like, is this a mistake, or is like the yarn just pulled like really loose or tight in one section? Like if I just like kind of fiddle with the fabric a little bit there. If I kind of like pull it one way or the other, like, is it going to relax and not look like a mistake? And so I did that for a while, and I was like, I think it's fine. And I kept going a little bit longer, and then I kept seeing it each time I came around. I looked at it and I was like, oh, I think it's a mistake. So I was like, okay, what are my options here? I already had this like idea in my mind that I was going to finish the sleeve that day, and I knit on that sleeve most of that day. So just, yeah, I knew that if I pulled back like 2 or 3 inches on this sleeve, it was going to jeopardize my chances of finishing the sleeve that day. That's how tight we were on this deadline. So I was like, okay, I know this is going to really bother me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to drop down and fix it and come back up. But that's like much easier said than done when it's brioche or a fisherman's rib or like half fisherman's rib, especially, I think is like kind of complicated because like the sides are different. And I just like had this moment and I was like, Emily, you can read your knitting. If you look at it and you drop down, you can understand how the loops are looping together, and you can fix it and you can come back up. And it's not, of course, it's not as simple as fixing stockinette. And I don't know, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you have a mistake in your stockinette, so like let's say that you're just doing knits all across and you have a mistake, what you can do, and what I often do, is take a crochet hook and you can purposefully drop one stitch and drop it until there's the mistake, and then you can fix it, and then you can use the crochet hook to pull your loops through all the way back up. So I think sometimes it's called like laddering down, because it does, when you pull your loops all the way down, you just have these live strands that look like a ladder. So anyway, I decided to do that with half fisherman's rib. And it was on kind of like the rib has like the knit stitches and the purl stitches, and it was on like a purl stitch that I had to do this. So I went down and I started trying to fix it, and I was like, oh man, I may have like bit off more than I can chew. Like, this is stressful. I don't know. And then I thought I fixed it, and I came back up and it looked like messed up again, and I pulled it back all the way back down again. I was like, I will fix this. And at some point I thought it was unfixable, and then eventually I ended up taking it down even farther, and I figured it out, and I read my knitting really well, and I was like calm and patient, which is like not always my strong suit, is being calm and patient, but I was calm and patient, and I sat and I focused on it, and I figured it out, and I laddered all the way back up in half fisherman's rib. And I know this may not seem like that big of a deal, but to me, I was like, oh, I felt so proud of myself. It was unbelievable. Again, like my husband was sitting next to me, and I was like, you don't even know, like, you can't even understand what I just did. Like, you wouldn't believe it. I couldn't explain to him like how proud I was that I did that. And again, I don't know, I'm probably like blowing this out of proportion, but I was just like, oh, I did it. Like, I am confident, I am capable. Like, if I can do that, I can do anything. I was like knitting goddess. Like, I did the thing. I dropped down and I fixed half fisherman's rib on a purl stitch down like probably 2 or 3 inches. And then I pulled it all the way back up. And you can't even tell. Like, after that, I was trying to find like where I had done it, and I couldn't. I fixed it so flawlessly that you couldn't even tell it had been there in the first place. So anyway, I just really wanted to share that with you all because it was such an empowering moment for me. I don't know, I feel like such a doofus here, but I was just like, oh man, my cheeks kind of hurt right now from smiling because I was just so excited and so proud of myself. And like, it would have been okay if I left the mistake in there, and like, I've left mistakes in my projects before, and like, it's not a big deal if you do that, or like, I have done that and it's fine. But that one, I was just like, I want to fix this, like, I want it, and I did. So yeah. But that is it. That's my finished Birch. And I feel a little toasty right now. I feel a little warm, but I really like don't want to take this off because I love it so much. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get a little hotter and I'll have to take it off later. But for right now, I'm leaving it on. I am leaving it on. Okay, sorry. Whew. I need to like relax my face a little bit because my cheeks are hurting right now from smiling. And we've gone quite a while and I haven't even, like, I'm just now finishing finished objects and I only had one. So like we're not going crazy fast right now. But I only have 2 works in progress that I want to share with you all. I have one other thing, my brother's socks I shared with you all last time. I've only done like a tiny bit of work on, so not really worth sharing here, but I am still kind of working on those. But almost all of my effort this week, so, well, first of all, a lot of my effort went into finishing the Birch, and then after I finished the Birch, so I finished the Birch Sunday, so basically, and I guess I worked on, was it Friday maybe? I was just like not feeling motivated to work on this. I did not want to work on the sleeve. It was like, no, not right now. So I worked quite a bit on one of these other projects as well. But for the most part, I did most of the progress on these projects was on yesterday. Today's Tuesday. It was on Monday. So yesterday is when I made most of the progress on these. And I'm excited to share them with you. So the first one is my dad's sweater. So I shared this with you all last time, and where I was, I had not just started, but I'd been working on the back panel. Excuse me. Ooh. I've been working on the back panel, and let me just describe again kind of like generally how the construction is going to work for this. So I guess I'll back it up one step further. This is a new design that I am writing myself. It is inspired by these wool Land's End sweaters that my dad used to wear a lot when I was a kid, and I am I'm doing a top-down construction. It is going to be a seamless set-in sleeve for the sleeves, and I started by casting on at the back. So I cast on at the back, and then I did some short rows, and then I knit the back panel, including some armhole shaping. You can kind of see here, I don't know if you can see that super well, but it's kind of folding because it's stuck in it. But there's armhole shaping here, so I did the back panel, I did some armhole shaping, and then I actually started with a provisional cast on so that you don't have to pick up stitches along the back, along the shoulders for the front. So that is where my yarn was from. This yarn was in the provisional cast on for this. And then you grab those stitches and start on the front and do the left front and the right front separately, and then you kind of join them together right here, and then do the rest of the front panel with armhole shaping as well. And then I just joined the front and the back, and I'm now working on the body and the round. And then I was nervous, so there are a couple of proportion things here. This is my first sample that I'm knitting, and there are a couple proportion things that I may adjust slightly when I write the pattern, because I'm not sure if they're exactly perfect and if they're exactly kind of right for the inspiration sweater. The thing that's a little bit tough about this, actually, I wonder if it would have been easier for me if I knit my dad's size first, because the sweater I have, so I actually have one of these sweaters that is the inspiration, and this is my dad's size. It is like a men's large. And I am knitting the sample for me, for my size, because I have access to my body. My dad lives 2,000 miles away, so I can't have him try things on all the time. So I thought it would be easier if I knit the first sample using my measurements. And unfortunately, though, I can't do like a direct comparison with this sweater, because this is like a men's large, and I am knitting not a men's large, more like a men's small type size. So I am looking at the proportions and I'm looking at the sweater to try to figure out how exactly to do each part, but I can't say, okay, this part measures like 4 inches, so you need to make it measure 4 inches in the sample, because for a smaller size, it might be slightly different. So anyway, there are a couple of places where I think I may need to make some adjustments to the proportions in my next sample, and there have been actually several times I have been knitting this that I was like, okay, should I just rip it out and start over? And I don't know. I may do that at some point, but for right now, I'm going to continue forward. But one of those moments was actually, I thought that the neck hole was too big, like was way too big. And I knew that when you pick up and do the collar, like the neckband, that would bring it in quite a bit, but I didn't know how much. And so I did go ahead and actually do the collar. Normally I would just do the collar at the end, but I went ahead and did it because I knew that if this was still way too big, that I would probably want to rip back and restart that part. But I think it actually works pretty well. And the yarn that I'm using is Aimee. I said that weird. I actually feel like I pronounced this wrong. I've heard people say it different ways. Aimee or Aimee. I don't know which one it is, but I've always said Aimee, so I will continue to say that unless someone can confirm for me that I am pronouncing it wrong. But I am using Aimee Corrie worsted in the French Grey colorway, which is also part of the inspiration for this sweater, is just the way that this yarn feels. It's like really nice and like sturdy woolly wool, and that reminded me so much of these sweaters. So yeah, I feel like I've made quite a bit of progress on this. It is knitting up really quickly. It is like a little bit puckery here, and I'm wondering if it's the way that I picked up the stitches. We'll see. Blocking, of course, will solve everything, as it always does. But one of the other things I'm concerned about now is that the armholes are too big. So again, I know that picking up the stitches around the armholes will cinch it in quite a bit, but I don't know how much, similar to the neck hole. But that may be one that I have to make an adjustment for as well. So I don't know, this is probably boring to hear me talk about, but I'm really enjoying working on it. My hope is to release this pattern toward the end of this year, so I still have plenty of time to work on it and to write the pattern and to have it tested and stuff. But if you're interested in knitting this pattern, if you're interested in testing it, definitely start to think about it. I will probably have a testing call in the next couple months. Once I have finished my sample and I write the pattern and get it tech edited and everything, I'll have a testing call up. So I'm thinking maybe in like September or so, August or September. So stay tuned. I know that's a little ways away, but if you do want to test knit this sweater, maybe start thinking about that. So, okay, let's see. Is that all the information? I am knitting this on a US size 6 needle. I did the collar, like the neckband, on a US size 5, the ribbing, but the body is on a US size 6. And again, this is Corrie worsted, which is just a lovely yarn to work with. Definitely would recommend. So yeah, that is that I did quite a bit of work on. And then the other project that I had almost nothing on this yesterday morning, and then I have been truly obsessed. So if you follow me on Instagram, you probably have already seen me post about this, like in my stories. I think actually earlier today I posted on my grid about it as well, but I'm truly obsessed with this project. Like, I could not, oh my gosh, just look at this. Ah! I'm so happy with how this is coming together. I think this is going to be such a fun design and such a fun project. And honestly, like, more so than anything else, I just want to have this finished vest, shirt, tank thing because I want to wear it because I think it's so cute. But anyway, okay. I feel like I'm full of myself today. Too confident is not something that I really expect to say about myself, but I feel a little bit like I'm tooting my own horn too much today. But I'm really happy with how this is turning out. So this is a new design of my own brain. Tentatively, I'm calling it right now like slanty stripes. So like slanty stripe vest or slanty stripe top or something. And it is, Norman, what do you want? What's up? Okay. It is yeah, basically I'm knitting these stripes, and I change color halfway through each stripe using intarsia. So I know intarsia sounds scary, and I don't know if you haven't done intarsia before, you totally can do it. And this is actually, I feel like, a good introduction to intarsia because it's like very small scale and not difficult at all and super simple. And I will probably, when I do the pattern, I will probably have tutorial videos, and there are other tutorial videos you can find online and everything. But anyway, these little color changes are intarsia, which makes this like really fun slanty pattern. I don't know if you can see it super well, but like here you can see a color change. It's not just straight up and down, it's like slanty. It's like a diagonal color change, and I love that. I think it's just so much fun. I think it just adds this like really fun and like playful bit to the design. And the colors, I could not be more obsessed with these colors. Truly, I love these colors so much. And I showed you all last week, I showed you the colors in cake form, in yarn cake form, and I loved them then, but I love them even more now, knit up. Like seeing them knit up together, I am so obsessed. I can't tell you how much I love these colors together. So the colors again are, the main color is Woolberry. So all of these are Woolberry in a variety of bases. I have some berry cashmere, some berry sock, and one berry mini. And they're all like merino nylon cashmere or merino nylon, or one is BFL nylon, I think. So, but they're all fingering weight 2-ply. They're pretty like very similar in like plumpness and gauge and everything. So I feel totally comfortable working this project with them all together. The main color is mine, which is from her Under the Sea, or like her ocean collection from last year. And I'm obsessed with this color. Like truly, this is the perfect main color for everything. Like I want to use it for everything because it's not, I don't know if it's showing up super well on the screen here. Let me show you. But it's not just white or cream. It's like a pinkish color. I don't know. There. I don't know if you can see this super well at all, but it is just like the faintest pink, which is so fun. And then the contrast colors, I shared these last week as well. The 3 primary colors that I'm obsessed with here. Red, yellow, blue. This one is Moab. This middle one is Marigold. And then the blue one is Puget Sound. And these are definitely my favorite colors in the project. And then I also added this gray, which is Escape. And this is the one I was a little unsure about last time. And I think it's perfect. I love it in the project. I think it really adds a really nice, that's this one here. I don't know if you can see that gray. That's Escape. And then the dark blue, which hasn't been in the project a ton yet. This was part of one of their, I think it was like an 8-day advent from last year. This is called Night Swim, which is a beautiful dark blue. And that one I just did a nice big stripe with it here. It is a little bit darker kind of than the other colors, like a little bit different vibrancy, or I don't know why I want to say like potency. It's just like a little darker than the others, but I feel like it gives like a really fun change of pace with the dark blue. So I haven't talked about like the way that I'm planning to construct this project yet a ton. I've talked about this project a ton in the past because this iterations or like versions of this project have been on my mind for so long. I've been thinking about this one, excuse me, forever. Originally I wanted to do these like intarsia triangles together, and then I cast on a similar project that was going to be a button-down vest with some other yarn that I had, and then I decided no, I don't want to do that. I want it to be a pullover vest. And the trouble with doing a pullover vest, you'd think that would be easier or better because you can knit it in the round, but because I wanted to do these little intarsia bits. Intarsia has to be knit flat. So I was like, okay, maybe if I'm gonna knit it flat anyway, maybe I should just do a button front vest. But I really was feeling this like oversized pullover vest, like a V-neck pullover vest. And so I decided, okay, I will just knit the front and the back separately. I'll just knit 2 pieces. And so this is the back right now. I'm gonna just keep knitting it for a while. I want to knit it so that it's not quite cropped. I want it to be longer than the Stripey turtle tank. For those of you who are unfamiliar, that is my first design. My first ever published design is like a little cropped no ease tank with a nice little ribbed like mock neck collar. Anyway, I want this one to be longer and positive ease. And then I'm also planning to do a V-neck as well on the front, which I think will be really fun with the stripes too, just like continuing that kind of like really fun, playful nature with this pattern. I couldn't love this more. The colors are beautiful. The yarn is beautiful. I love the little stripes. I think it's just so much fun, and I want to have this and wear it so badly. But I was in the middle of the ribbing when I started working on this yesterday, and it's like 3 o'clock today. I haven't worked on it a ton today. I think I put just 1 colored stripe in it today, so all the rest of it I did yesterday. And I just was cruising on it because I was loving it so much, and I'm gonna keep cruising on it because it's so much fun. It's very potato chippy. Like it's each stripe. I feel like stripes in general like often are like this. You just want to like do 1 more stripe. And I feel like this is just perfect for that. But I am a little concerned about all the ends. I am going to have to weave in all of these ends. And that is a little bit scary to me, but worth it, you know. Definitely worth it to get these fun stripes. So, I don't know. Can you guys tell how much I love it? I hope you love it too. I really do. Because I'm so excited about it, and I want to share it with you all, and I want to see other people knit it too. Like, I want to see other color combinations, and I'm really proud of it too. So, yeah, that's all I've been working on. I mostly just finished the Birch, and then the last couple days I've been working on new designs, but I couldn't be happier with what I'm working on. Like this sweater, as soon as I put it on, was like, okay, this is like one of the best things I've ever knit. Like truly, how is it so perfect? I don't know how it could be so good, but yeah, I feel really happy with that. And then I also I'm really, really enjoying the designs I'm working on right now too. I feel really good about them. So yeah, I'm feeling really good about my knitting right now. I do have one acquisition to share with you. I talked last time about how I was almost certainly going to buy more Ovis, etc., and I did. I went to the store, I went to La Mercerie where I work, and I got 2 skeins of, this is the Igneae base, which is the fingering weight base. It's 60% wool, 20% rainbow, 20% silk. And this is the clay color, and this is the color that I couldn't stop thinking about. And I keep thinking I want to knit it into a moonset tee by Ozetta, and I may actually cast this on pretty soon because I'm cruising through my other projects, and I want to have something like the designs you have to think about a little bit, depending on where I am in the project. Sometimes I do more than other times, but I actually, like I want to have a project that is really mindless for me to work on, especially because we're traveling next week. And I'm not sure I want to work on the new designs when I'm traveling because I have to focus more on that. Like I have to take notes when I'm doing it, and I just want to be able to, like on planes and in long car rides and everything, I want to be able to have something mindless. So I may cast this on and work on a moonset tee, which I think would just be a really fun summer tee. So that is what I have kind of potentially next up. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I don't feel like I have a ton kind of like life-wise to talk about today. mention that the weather got better. I made a sourdough loaf of bread today and have been enjoying eating that with some cheese and jam. It's just been really tasty. We're planning to make toast for our weekend brunch. I think we're actually going to do it tomorrow though, on Wednesday. But we're planning to make toast. We like to do a savory and a sweet toast, so like an avocado toast and then also like a peanut butter and banana toast. It's very fun. So with homemade sourdough will be really tasty. What else is going on? I mentioned last time Knit in Public Day at the store, so if you are in the area, in the Poulsbo area, Poulsbo, Washington, where La Mercerie is, you should definitely come by. Next Saturday, we are having Knit in Public Day. We're going to have some fun outdoor knitting time and some snacks, and it's just going to be really a great time to sit and enjoy the weather, hopefully, and knitting with friends, and come check out the store if you haven't. So I will definitely be there, and I hope that you guys will be there too. Yeah, I'm trying to think about if there's anything else really going on. Not really. Nofis has been on call. I talked about that a little bit last time. I'm not going to go into it again now, but Nofis, my husband, is a software engineer, and he sometimes has to be on call, which means he just has to be available to respond if any of their processes break. And so we have been hanging out here at home more, just because we can't go too far because he has to be able to respond if there are any issues. So that will end. This is his last week of doing that. So hopefully that will all go smoothly, and then we can go back to hiking and going places on the weekends. Shortly after that, we are actually going out of town. I talked about that before as well. But yeah, otherwise we're just hanging out, trying to enjoy the weather. We went for a run today. We've been trying to be more active, running and hiking and doing yoga, just like moving our bodies a little bit, especially in the summer. I think it's like, it feels good to do that, to get outside. And Norm likes to go on runs too. So we take Norman on runs with us as well. Although he likes it a lot more, I think, when it's not sunny. When it's sunny, he gets tired fast. Like, he gets hot, and I can tell he doesn't want to run. I'm kind of like, normally when it's not sunny, when it's like cloudy or cool, he'll be the one who's kind of dragging me when we run. But when it's sunny outside, I feel like I'm dragging him a little bit. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, I'm just knitting and really enjoying what I'm knitting right now, and I hope you guys are really enjoying what you're knitting too. And I can't wait to, I don't know, just finish these projects that I'm really loving right now. And yeah, hopefully I'll have some more progress for you all next week. And then shortly after that, we go out of town, so I may miss recording the week after that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for today. So thank you so much for tuning in. I feel like it was a really fun one. And yeah, I'm really enjoying what I'm working on right now. And I hope you do lots of knitting and watch lots of baseball and have a great week. Bye.